Hi, my name is Neil Brooks, and I am a graduate student with Liberty University Online. Today, I want to talk to you briefly about a group meeting that I facilitated on April 18th, 2018. The meeting took place in my agency where I am currently employed. It's the local health department where my office is housed, and it consisted of 8 certified peer support specialists. I did have a co-facilitator who is one of the peer support specialists present in the meeting. Um, the meeting lasts for about 2 hours, starting at 1 p.m., ending at 3 p.m., unless otherwise noted. This meeting has been happening since 2012 when this particular agency, started the peer services unit. Within the setting of our meetings, we normally discuss the typical topics, policy. We go over um, different things that may come from management that need to be disseminated to the staff. But for this particular meeting, I wanted to make certain that I covered or talked about or we discussed the personal wellness and recovery of the peer support specialist, and also deal a little bit on advocacy, which is one of the domains which govern the work of the peer support specialist. I currently act as or I'm currently positioned as the peer supervisor, and have been doing so for a year. However, for this particular meeting, I wanted to make sure that I acted as a facilitator and not as a lead. So I did a lot of guiding the meeting, and which that was fine for the topics at hand. Um, while peers are used to the setting, the group setting, the support setting, um, on this particular day, it was the peers were somewhat apprehensive to talk about questions related to their personal wellness and their personal recovery. I'm not sure why that was, but there was just not a lot of participation when we first opened the floor to ask, just in general, how everyone was doing. When I noticed that no one was jumping on the question, the conversation was really cold. It just kind of dropped. I immediately went to individuals who are very much so involved, and they like to participate. They like to talk, even though they weren't talking this time. But I immediately went around the room and started to pull on those particular individuals just to get the conversation started. I noticed some individuals begin to talk about certain things that were a bother to them, and so that kind of warmed the fire. Um, from there, we went straight into advocacy, and in talking about advocacy, there was a little more participation than there were initially, and a lot of the participation came from the peers actually being able to pull in some of their case studies to talk about or to relate advocacy or being an advocate with. Um, while I allowed this, it's not the intent of the meeting, so I made sure to redirect to the purpose and the goal of the meeting. And at times it was a huge struggle to do so. It was a huge struggle to cut individuals off um, when it came to um, just reviewing case study, and it became somewhat difficult to do. So at one point, I just kind of sat back and was like, we'll just let it do what it do. But then I noticed that there were, certain individuals who really began to, I guess, understand where the mind or where I really wanted the group to go, and they began to kind of chime in little by little, and then you could kind of see the mind of the group kind of shifting and going in the way that it was intended to go. My only, I had quite a few challenges. My first challenge was I don't feel that I was fully prepared in prepping for this particular group with my co-facilitator. I don't think I had enough time. I wish I would have had a little bit more literature to share with the peer support specialists, while they are very informed on advocacy and very informed on self-care, very informed on personal wellness, probably more informed than I am. As a facilitator, I feel that sometimes you can never have enough information to share with individuals. So I wish I would have had more literature to share. I also wish that those moments where individuals shared some of their personal struggles, and even some with advocacy, I wish I would have asked the correct question or asked a follow-up question in order to delve deeper into that particular conversation with them. Maybe that would have opened up for them to do some personal work on themselves while they're in the presence of other individuals. I didn't do that, and I wish I would have. I think I was more time conscious or conscious than anything, and so I missed that opportunity. Um, and and so that's something that I regret and something that I wish I would have done differently. Outside of that, I think some of the greatest highlights of the meeting had a lot to do with being able to hear from individuals who are less talkative, being able to draw them into the conversation, having that time where people, the peers, found common ground because they all somewhat struggled with the same things when it came to um, their job and their personal recovery and wellness. So, with that being said, thank you for your time, and have a good evening.